Hi, Cristina. I'm super happy to meet you. I hope you hear me well. And I'm very excited for today. I'm super happy to have this conversation. If I'm being fully honest, I knew that that was you an hour before that because I wrote to you. So I I did a little research, so I know a little bit, and I'm extremely honored to talk to you today. I'm Anna Maliarenko, and I'm 25 years old. I'm Ukrainian, and I'm based in Poland. I have moved to Poland when I was almost 17 years old, and my parents remained in Ukraine. I studied economy international trade, and 8 years ago, I have been hired to Bayer. I started as intern, and I was working in disclosure management, and then I was working in general accounting and quality management, multiple different fields and processes, all extremely exciting and all extremely interested. After that, I have had a maternity break, so I'm a mom. And since 1.5/2 years, I've been doing project and program management. And that all is and was in the GBS environment, previously as a CDN environment. So I was hired in GBS Gdansk location. I still remain in GBS Gdansk location, even though currently I'm providing services towards the program that is outside of GBS environment.
Very,
This is
very
me.
good. Thank you, Anna. And it's a pleasure meeting you. And I have to say, I love your blouse.
Thank you so much. This is actually a necklace. That's Ukrainian traditional
I have seen them, and
necklace.
it's beautiful. And I think nowadays, especially to talk to somebody from Ukraine, it's very it's very emotional for me, and it's very important as well. So, and my thoughts are always with Ukraine and with the people there, and undergoing this
Thank you.
war that nobody of us wants to have, and we all want to finish. So, my thoughts with you and with your family to start that talk.
Thank you so much.
And yes, so I will introduce myself as well. So, my name is Cristina Alonso. I am originally from Spain, and I'm a scientist. I'm a chemist. That's what I did and what I studied because my passion has always been to translate science into a benefit for society. And this is what has led my career at Bayer. I have worked at Bayer for 25 years now in very different positions, starting in research as a lab chemist in pharmaceuticals in Germany, to working in regulatory affairs for many years in pharmaceuticals, supporting emerging markets, to live some years in Mexico and in the United States, leading the Latin American organization, moving then to crop science to lead also the regulatory affairs, crop protection environment, and then now since some years leading the area of health, safety and environment and sustainability. This has led me to where I am today. So I'm the head of sustainability, safety, health and environment at Bayer for the complete worldwide organization. And I am also at the same time the human rights officer for Bayer, and that's the first time that we have this role in the company. I am married to a German man, and I'm the mom of a 19-year-old daughter.
This is incredible, and you're a mom. This is so empowering. I have been always looking out for colleagues that I work with, women that are parenting, and also my parents overall, and the way that they are able to combine their private life and their working life, their parenthood and their professional responsibilities. And it's a lot harder than it looks. I never real. No one told me that it is going to be such a struggle. So it's kudos to you for making such an incredible career and being a mom. I feel like this is incredible achievement. This is not an easy task.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. And yeah, that's one of the big topics that all of us in the past, mostly women, but nowadays I think everybody then faces, no, how to combine our private lives and our professional careers. And yeah, it takes a little bit of flexibility. It takes also sometimes giving away the aim for perfection. But I can tell you that that children grow, and when I hear now my daughter talking about me and what she admires, a lot of it has been that I have pursued my dream and my professional career. So this made me who I am and makes her who she is as well.
Absolutely, I can support this. I have always admired my mom. She's incredible, unstoppable, restless in a good way, and all of the everything that I admire. And she pursued her career, her aspirations, her goals, and this is what also inspired me and inspires me still. And the way that I am with my daughter now, I really hope she will grow. We will build a relationship that I have had with my mom before. So this is definitely one of the things that is supporting me internally in my journey right now. Seeing my mom as an example of doing the same thing and being incredible in it.
Yeah, and that's very powerful to hear the role of and the meaning of role models, no, in our family and outside. And it's so nice to hear that your mother has been a role model to you and that you are now a role model to your daughter every day. When my daughter was little, she used to describe me, she writes emails, which I thought, well, that's
Partially
yeah,
true.
it's true. No, but she writes emails and makes PowerPoints. No, which was okay. It's it was the way she would see my work, and I fully see what you say, that to say, well, I enable, no, medicines to get to the market, new medicines to get to the market. Then you have a very different way of putting it. Or I enable farmers to grow more food for people, then it's a different way of putting it. And I think sometimes we are a little bit um, humble to say that big way, because I think especially women very often don't want to sound arrogant, but I encourage everybody to describe it that way, because you are a little bit part of it, such as me, but we together contribute to that.
I would say that I have had a biggest privilege and I don't know, luck to have amazing managers in GBS environment, in GBS Gdansk, absolutely amazing representatives of leadership team, great leaders, and we've spent amount of time to talk about bioproducts, sometimes about some innovation, about something that is so far away from us as the GBS environment. It's far away. It barely reaches us because we come a little bit from the different perspective, but it was very important to understand what is that amazing product, what is that health that we are giving for all, right? Even in the environment that seems to be a little bit on the side. So this was a very big role, and I think this is definitely something that need to be encouraged and need to be continued. To showcases in the employees, the little things, the research results, the new products, the progress that Bayer is doing, while we enable to save money so they can go to research, to save money so they can go to other sources. And it doesn't really connect directly to your position, but you can make that connection.
Yeah, and
And this is
yeah,
important.
and I love the way you say it. When I lived in Mexico and I worked in regulatory, one of the things we liked was going to the pharmacy and seeing the boxes of our products on the shelf, because we were saying, well, we made that happen, not alone, but we made it happen. So we used to go to the pharmacy and take pictures of the shelf with our products, and this was a very human and close way to understand what we are enabling. So I think it's sometimes in this now more virtual worlds we forget this human touch to make things very close to us, and I encourage anybody to do that, because then you feel it, and when you feel it also you live it.
So the topic that we have is what are the top 3 skills, and I'm assuming can be more than that you need in your job or in your area of expertise. So, Christina, if you could just start with one of the skills that you have chosen for that question.
Yeah, yeah. An important skill for me and for our world is collaboration. Uh, we have big challenges ahead of us, and they can only be solved if many minds, different diverse minds, and different interests get together. So collaboration is a top skill for me that it's needed. And what about you?
I, I so I wrote communication skills, which is awfully broad, but what I meant by that was high level of empathy within the environment, being flexible in your communication, being able to adjust your communication, being open towards finding that efficient way to communicate with each individual. And this is all one thing. This is all one thing. I'm still elaborating the communication. Feedback culture, and that one for me means assuming good intention while collaborating. So always assuming having conflicts, disagreements, absolutely natural, but always assume good intention. Always assume your colleague respects you and wants to collaborate and wants that to happen, that mission, whatever you are trying to achieve to happen. Assume that, and from that position, resolve the conflict or build the future collaboration. So that was my first, and I felt like it
Yes,
resonated with
yes,
what you've
certainly,
said as well.
certainly. Yeah. So another one for me is flexibility to drive change. Um, we are in a world that it's changing constantly, and we need to be the drivers of change. And for me, this also goes linked to resourcefulness. No? Find
Mhm.
solutions that are unthinkable and make them happen. What about you?
Uh, I have kind of all in one, but I was thinking about project management because it was a little bit on your field, and I wrote um, problem solving, planning, organization, ability to think quick. I feel like it's also awfully broad. But what I wanted to add to this was ability to recover quick, recover from what did not happen as you planned, recover from what failed, and not let the failure or your temporary ignorance in something define you and define what you do. So be able to move from that away quickly, replan, rethink, reassess, and just continue progress over perfection all of the time, because this is what drives you forward.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, and my top one, especially in the role I am in today, is driving vision, because this is the only way we can get people behind to address what we need, and at the same time to drive vision paired with staying to my core values. So we are every
Mhm.
day at the crossroad of important decisions. And for me, my compass are my values that I have since I was very little, and that they drive me. So this is, for me, probably the most important thing nowadays in my role.
This is a great one. I feel like the one that I have as a third one would not correlate at all, but I think we are free to collaborate on that, and I would want to comment maybe after. So what I have in here is the ability to create trust within the environment, within the team, being reliable and being present. And that is one of the things that worked. It's extremely important for me. This is the first thing I strive to do: be present, be reliable, and create trust with the colleagues, with the stakeholders, within the team, within the process, within this environment that you are right now. That allows me to that psychological trust that allows for that innovation, that allows for that failure, right? For that potential quick recovery that we had, that I have mentioned before. That psychological safety is the key for the collaboration from my perspective.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's not only for collaboration, but also at the end for performance. You know, the teams that are that trust each other, they just perform so much better.
And coming back to your main point, I really like that, and I feel like that correlated with what we have discussed before, that drive and vision and full understanding and standing behind our values. This is something that have been very supporting me throughout my career, understanding why I do what I do. And that can be unfortunately lost when we are talking about operational work, when we are talking about processes that are not directly linked to production, not directly linked to research. As I've mentioned, I've been working in general ledger, in disclosure management, in proof of expert processes that are operational. And it is very important being a part of those processes to still be able to link it to that end result, to that mission that we are all standing behind. Because just hearing health for all, hunger for none, it doesn't do it for you. You need to see how it links. I've conducted that amount of transition that year. We saved this amount of money. Where did that money go to? Did that money go to how that enabled the organization to move forward? This is what I feel like, for me, creating that internal motivation
Yeah,
to
yeah.
move.
And what I feel interesting as a leader is sometimes I say some of these things and and you could think, well, that's obvious. Everybody can think about that. But at the end of the day, as human beings, we are also engaged and inspired by others. So hearing these things, like you said, it just inspires others to think that way. No? So sometimes just repeating the things that could be obvious to you are important because they are not obvious to others. And it happens a lot also in my space when I have many people in my organization that work on safety, on keeping our people safe. And well, it could be very big if you say, well, you're keeping people safe, but if you bring examples by doing this part of this process, you are contributing to this bigger topic. It encourages the people to say, okay, yeah, now I understand what I do, and I will start to tell others as well. So, which is very important to bring others along. So, I think everything is very connected. So, changing perspectives, taking another position, and understanding how it feels helps to understand our world much better.
Oh, definitely. That empathy that I wrote, it's very personal for me, because once again, I'm extremely privileged here in Gdansk. I work with amazing people, absolutely amazing community. I've been here for 8 years. I love the people here. And when the war began, and they were incredible. What people did here, the support that they have provided to me, to my colleagues, to colleagues from Ukraine, is incredible. So that empathy from them, that their capability of putting them in my situation or try to understand it, allowed me to continue my work, gave me motivation to do things that we did to support the colleagues that are less lucky than I am. I'm in Poland, I'm safe. And that just gave me amazing drive. And I still am amazed, and I'm still under the influence of the kindness from our managers, from the kindness of my colleagues, and that gave me just, I feel like, internally, eternally, I will remember that, how that organization, how my leaders have treated me, how they treated the situation, my colleagues, how I have been hurt, how I've been placed in a situation when I'm comfortable, how I felt safe within that environment that I'm working in. And I also wanted to mention that we are working in a very diverse environment, and this is obvious, and I feel like I'm Stating the obvious to you, you know that, and that golden rule for me that I have in my head: always assume good intention, always assume no one wishes you harm, or no one meant disrespect, or no one meant to put you in an uncomfortable position. That helped me tremendously.
So let's use resources to find a way to overcome it. No? And for me, one of the areas that has been extremely important is this resourcefulness, to understand I don't need to solve everything alone, but where can I find resources that are going to help me? And you gave very nice examples by, in that case, using resources as people, as mentors, as your supervisor, to help you overcome something that you say, well, I have to work on it. No? So we are not alone. We are not alone privately. We are not alone in the working space, and we can use the many resources to work through topics, to learn, to develop, and to solve any topic that we have at hand.
Absolutely. I feel sometimes I abuse it. If there is a possibility to do a mentor conversation, to talk with people from different environment, people with amazing experience, I use the hell out of that opportunity. I have had a plenty of opportunities to talk with absolutely amazing, inspiring colleagues, and that helped me a lot. And of course, 1 hour conversation talking with someone is not gonna help you do amazing change internally, but it gives you food for thought, it gives you example, it might inspire you. So this is one thing. And also seeking help from a specialist, from therapist.
Because life brings struggles along, expected and unexpected. And the most powerful thing is to face them and understand how can we find and seek support to overcome them. And at Bayer, we are very lucky that we have many resources that we can use in all these different phases. And I encourage everybody to use them and to seek them. And as you say, there is no shame in it. If I go through a difficult phase, if when I lost my father, it was a difficult phase for me, and it's fine to seek help and not try to do it on my own, because this makes me then fit for the work, it makes me fit for the people, and especially it makes me fit for my family as well. No, we are one person at work and off work, and taking care of our own health is the start for everything else. And realizing and accepting that not every day, not every moment, and not every phase is going to be the same one. Yeah, and as we were talking, health is essential, and it's if you think about it broadly, it's core to our company, and it's core also to sustainability and to making the world a better place. That's our vision and our objective that we have in common from our conversations. That's core to sustainability and to the basis of what we do. And I have just had my 25th anniversary year at Bayer. It's quite a long time, and things have changed. When I started working at Bayer, I counted to diversity because I started in Germany in an area where there were very few women and certainly very, very few non-German people. So it was very different. And the resources that we have today were not necessarily the ones we had at that time, because even accepting that we would need to seek for help was not very broadly known. So I feel that today we are so blessed because we have resources that enable us to seek the help that we need and also to reinforce ourselves. And to give some examples, we have in the mental health area, we have the EAP programs, the employee access programs that enable us to seek help if we need, if we are worried with somebody, is with something, if the family is undergoing struggles, and that's fully anonymous. But we also have, for example, the House of Health that gives us resources on how to take care of our own health, of the health of our family. And what I find personally extremely powerful, and that's why I get also engaged in it, is the business resource groups. That today employees have the ability and actually are encouraged to organize themselves in order to build groups that are together and driving together for one cause. Like, for example, Grow for women at Grow at Work, or many other groups that we have, like Enable, with people that have different abilities, and so on and so on.
I wouldn't call it a benefit. It's not necessarily an apple that we get every Tuesday, but this is something that we stand strong behind, and we value
Yeah,
it.
and I mean, I was reflecting while you were talking, and I think the biggest difference has been to recognize the role of leaders. When I started 25 years ago, our managers were people that came to work but kind of left their own person and their own individual way of being and behind. They left it at home and came this professional that was aiming for perfection. And I think today we understand as leaders that actually our role is different. Our role is to bring ourselves to work full and to enable that everybody does the same, because that's the way we encourage an organization to work differently and to, at the end, much more effective in towards the big goals that we have.
I feel like I have been asked by the students sometimes, because I'm always very open and positive towards sharing the organization information about the organization they're working. And they asked, "That's have you never had an experience with your manager where you just it didn't work? You seem so inspired. You seem so always you talk very positively of." And honestly, there probably have been a situation where my manager was not my best friend, but I have never had a situation where I was uncomfortable, where I felt unsafe with my manager. And this is what made it such a positive experience for me, right? It's not a goal and I'm not gonna say that every single person I worked with is just absolutely my best friend now, and we are just best buddies and we are doing drinking wine. But uh, I have always felt safe. I have always felt heard. And I'm privileged to say this because I feel like I came into this environment where this big step was made. Right? Because I always felt like I work long in this organization, but when I'm talking to you, I feel relatively fresh and new, and still, yeah, extremely. And even in those 8 years I have been working here, I feel progress and those values getting stronger and louder, and awareness being an open topic for our colleagues. It is incredible to observe, and I stand behind it, and I do everything that I can to support
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And I have seen the change. I have had 14 managers in my career. I counted them the other day. And 14 is quite a big number
I
in
should count
25
mine.
years. And I have seen the progress, no? And I have seen how things that at the beginning were not that valued, for example, that I was so different to everybody else, today it's seen as a richness to the organization. And that's why when I mean it's nice to hear that you get engaged with students and with newcomers. I think that's essential, because that's the generation that is going to drive the sustainability in the world that we need. I mean, so that's so important to engage people and to keep the motivation. And I think at Bayer we have so many resources, for example, to learn. So, and to change positions and to do assignments in another area, to pick into what others are doing. And I think we take it sometimes for granted, no? So for obvious, as we were talking at the beginning, but when I talk to friends working in many other areas, it's far away from possible. And I believe that opening the eyes to newcomers in the organization and saying all of this is possible and these are ways how you can do it. Get engaged also, of course, do your job well, get engaged in your work, drive innovation in your areas, not perform to your objectives, and at the same time find some time to get engaged in something that is really important for you. Find some time to learn skills and to develop your skills. Use every day as an assignment and as an opportunity to learn. Take care of your network. No? Engage for what is important. We have this great network, for example, of sustainability champions who are colleagues in all organizations around the world that are driving sustainability in their own areas so that we can contribute to the big objectives of sustainability at Bayer in terms of environment, of making the world a better place, but they drive it within their organization so that they can drive what is their organization contributing to at best. Get engaged in that if that's important for you. Use the resources to grow as a person and as a professional. And I always also tell people, and for somebody like you, I think it's so important. I'm so impressed by you, Anna, is think that you have a choice. So every morning you choose to work for this company. And, and that's why we as a company need to be attractive so that people like you decide every day to work with us and to work with Bayer and to be part of the Bayer world. And we have to remind that we as leaders today have to make everything so that the best people decide every day to work for Bayer.
But this organization gave me an opportunity to research, to discover, to join one process and actually understand whether I want to do that or not, to join an absolutely different direction, process, department, and understand whether I want to do that. And in a lot of cases, I did not want to do that anymore. And I wanted to change and I wanted to join and try something new. And not only that was possible for me, I was encouraged to do that because we wanted right people on the right places. Because when I feel motivated, when I feel passionate towards what I do, I'm productive and I'm creative and I'm collaborative and my performance is just high. So I felt like I joined whatever place was there and I did learn amazingly from my first team. And then I did change and I did change again and I changed again. I've been in multiple processes and I feel enriched by that experience. And I feel like I was encouraged to do that, and that was a benefit. And now I'm here, and I don't know if I will be here in doing the same, developing in the same in product management and program management in 5 years. But I know that this organization will allow me to grow in the direction where I choose to grow, and this is a privilege. So this is great. A lot of students are afraid to join and not being able to make that change because I cannot decide what kind of process I want to do now. I'm 18 or I'm 19 or I'm 20 years old. I don't know. So this organization will give you a lot of opportunity and actually very different directions where you can develop after time. Christina, first of all, big thank you for that conversation. I value very much always an opportunity to talk with colleagues. Such an incredible experience, and it's very inspiring for me to hear your thoughts. So I value very much your time, and I really hope that maybe someday we will have an opportunity to resume and maybe talk again. And thank you so much for highlighting and reassuring the need of driving vision for me and the value that we have in this organization and the input that we place towards that final end result, toward that mission that we have. That was very valuable for me to hear. I use the word valuable a lot because a lot of things are valuable. So sorry about that.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure meeting you as well, and you're a true leader of the generation that Bayer we want to see. So you have inspired me a lot, and at the end of the day, together we are making our planet a better place, protecting the planet's health, improving people's lives, each one in our role, but doing it together. And I have been impressed by the role that you play in encouraging new people and young people to join our company and to develop a career that matters and make a difference. So I encourage you to continue that way. I hope we will be able to continue our relationship now that we have met. and maybe meeting sometime in person in the future. Thank you for everything that you do, and you've made my Friday. Thank you for that.
Same to you. Thank you so much for kind words. And I'm looking forward, and I'm going to use that, and I'm going to contact you next time I'm somewhere in Germany. So thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for this.
Anna.